Welcome back, everyone. We hope that you are safe and sound and that fine music is on episode 521. Our leadoff man, Fred Whitlock, will take it from here.
Well, this week I discovered a group, the Public Broadcasting System. They have 5 albums out, and their latest one is called The Last Flight. And what they do is take sound bites and radio sounds from different historical moments in our lives. They've done World War II, the Titanic is another album they did about, and this one is about Amelia Earhart. And it starts out very moody and slow, and with a song, I Was Always Dreaming. And the audio sounds come out from that period. They recreate some of the radio broadcasts, and they use an actor, Graham. She reads from the journals of Amelia Earhart and also a biography that was written. It's atmospheric soundscape. It's intense sometimes. It's captivating. It really grabs you. Um, Electra is a cut. It's about her plane. That was the name of her plane. And the fun of it all takes her point of view of the challenge and adventure she felt when she was flying. There's recreative radio transmissions, as I said, and there is vocals from a singer throughout it. But the band just creates this incredible, adventurous soundscape that's just as adventurous as Amelia Earhart was. Um, the singer is Andrea Casablanca. I believe she's from Berlin. And the guitars, the electronics, the drumming just pulsates and captures your senses throughout the whole record. And you just want to go to one cut to the next and not give up on this album. My next review is a couple of box sets and a new album by Iain Matthews. Iain Matthews has been around since the 60s with Fairport. He co-founded Fairport Convention. He's on 3 of their first albums, the first 3 albums. And the first box set is the Vertigo years. He was on the Vertigo label after he left Fairport Convention. He formed a group called Matthews Southern Comfort. And in the UK, he had a hit with the song Woodstock. It's a folk rock out set, these 3 albums of the era, and it's all the material holds up well. It's a 5-disc set. It covers his albums that he recorded for this label and lots of unreleased material. It has a live set with Andy Roberts and Richard Thompson, recorded live at the bitter end. The harmonies are captured so well, and the guitar work is great, of course, with Richard Thompson doing some lead guitar. It's over 37 cuts of unreleased material and live sets. Now, this man's been around, like I said, since the 60s, and he just never made it big as some of the British folk rock singers, but he's got a long long career, and I've always been a big fan of his. I've had many of his albums. Then the second box set covers from 1978 to 84. It's called I Can't Fade Away, and it's when he was on the Rockberg label. And this covers from his, it's a 5 CD set also covering from 78 when he came out with the album Stealing Home with a probably his most well-known song in America. Uh, he had a just barely covered the top 10 with Terrence Boylan's song. And it, he went into the pop rock direction in these years, but he always surrounded himself with great musicians, and the music is tight. His lyrics are great. He has some live sets, and he uses some great session men. If you've ever read liner notes of your albums in the 70s, you'll recognize the name Pete Winfield. He was a famous British keyboard player on so many British albums, as well as Mick Weaver on organ, who's on some of these sets. And it goes all the way through 1980 with soft interference and shook in 1984. It's got many live sets in it that are great, and it was a great period of time for him. And he has a new album out that just came out in late 24, and this is like his 53rd or 54th album. Unbelievable career. It's 13 songs, and again, he proves that he still can write some great lyrics and music. And he has a band, once again, that really supports his songs. Ripple in the Stream starts off the album, and at 78 years old, he's now saying this might be his last studio album. And the title song is about life today, and New Dark Days has the lyrics, best like a dark year away. And he's not a household name, like I said, but he's a name you should pick up on if you've never listened to him. He's got a great career from the 60s all the way up to 2024. It's Americana, folk rock, pop folk, and the man had Matthew's Southern Comfort. He formed a group called Plain Song, and he's recorded duet albums with Elliot Murphy from New York City. Many, many albums, like I said, over 53 albums.
You know what's interesting about he formed that group Plain Song. Their first album came out in 1972. It's called In Search of Amelia Earhart.
Yeah,
Isn't that a coincidence? The public broadcasting system and Ian Matthews both having Amelia Earhart album.
yeah, that Plain
Also,
Song album, it's a shame they only did one. It was a great little group.
yeah, you know, there's a little anecdote about his name too. His birth name is Ian MacDonald, but there was already a musician named Ian MacDonald with King Crimson. So that's
Wow.
why he changed his name. He changed his name to Ian Matthews. Matthews was his middle name. And then he changed it again. Like
Yeah,
you
he
said,
spelt
the
it
first name.
IAN, and then he spelt it IAIN.
Yeah, there's no explanation on that part.
Yeah.
But yeah, very prolific career. Yes.
And then last but not least, I discovered this folk singer, folk rock, uh, Anais Mitchell. And that's the title. Her name is the title of her 2022 album. Um, Brooklyn Bridge starts this album off. And I have to say, she's been around 10 years. She actually wrote the music for a Broadway play that won something like 10 Tony Awards. And she's won Grammy Awards for Best Musical. I've never heard of her before until now. She's a great singer-songwriter. And she's also part of a folk rock group, Bonnie Light Horseman, which has 3 albums out. And now she's nearly 40 years old and she moved from New York to Vermont. And her songs are warm and open and optimistic. Bright Star is a reflective, contemplated song about her life. And her lyrics are relevant and deal with the past, her childhood, and life in nature. It's great indie folk music. Anais Mitchell. I highly recommend her.
Yeah, I'm looking over. Uh, you said she did past albums, right?
Yes, she had a
2016, 2017, 2019. Mhm. Wow, that's interesting. Interesting. Have to check her out. Okay. Thank you so much, Fred, for these 3 new discoveries. Us.
The public